This is the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast, episode 723, Connecting for the Holidays, Creating Fun Holiday Experiences for Families and Kids, with Sandi Johnson. Welcome to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast, hosted by author, educator, speaker, and mom, the Cool Cat teacher, Vicki Davis. We may not be able to get together this year, but does this mean we can't see friends and family? Today's guest, Sandi Johnson, has some awesome ideas for bringing families together. Sandi is an IT Integrator in Indianapolis who has created fun events for neighbors, families, and her students to celebrate and grow closer during this time. If you are wondering how to connect with your family in new ways, listen to this show and plan some fun family events. Enjoy!
Today we're talking with Sandi Johnson, Technology Integrator from Indiana. Now, Sandi, you have some unique ways to connect for the holidays, but take us back to March and how you started figuring out powerful ways for us to connect in new ways online because, things are different right now.
Yeah, I think that it all began back in March when our school closed down and we were all starting to get a little lonely and it was getting serious and we knew we weren't going to be back together anytime soon. And I really had a personal need to connect with the adults in my life, my mom, my sister, my aunt, and we actually got together, just the four of us. I led a Zoom meeting and we ended up staying on for probably 2 hours. And I have to say it's probably the longest we've all sat together and talked in years. And when we got off, they all sent me emails and said how great that was and we need to do it again next week. And so I could see the platform was there to really connect with a group or an audience that Zoom hadn't been intended for at that time. We were Zooming pretty heavily at our school as we were preparing our students to possibly leave and have to connect in new ways. So I was pretty comfortable with it. We'd been leading Zoom meetings among faculty and staff as well as the students in the school. And it was interesting to find out that all these people that are in my personal life had never really used this tool before. Even in their workspace, it was really kind of up and coming. So as we continued that at-home time, I led a Kahoot session in Zoom with my neighbors and it became really popular. It just started with like 6 of us. Then we were up to about like 20 people on a Zoom session in a couple of weeks. And it was cute to hear the kids in the background going, "Hey, Mom, we use Kahoot all the time." And the parents had never heard of it or seen it. And they just had a lot of fun. I think we easily connect to the students in our lives, and we are thankful for the parents who are tech savvy in the background who help their students through e-learning. Then we can get frustrated with parents who aren't supporting their students, and really you just have to understand that we all don't have that background. And I saw that when I was hosting, using tools that I'm considered an expert at my school with people who just want to have a fun time. So looking ahead at the upcoming holidays, we are now out of school again. We've just gotten told that we are back to e-learning due to rising cases in our area. And I wanted to do something again with friends and family that was new and fresh. So I dipped back into my teacher pool of tricks and came up with another activity that I think my friends and family will enjoy, as well as anybody who wants to try this at home with their friends and family.
So we found you because you were talking about something called Zoom's Giving and Would You Rather Thanksgiving edition. Now, are you doing some of this stuff with your students as well as with adults in your life?
Yeah, so I am a tech integrator at the school, so I really work with teachers who are looking for ideas, things to do in their classroom to keep it fresh. And Would You Rather activities are probably pretty common. The idea of doing them with Zoom is kind of the new twist on things. I heard this just the other day that everyone loves a good hybrid. Everybody loves a cronut, the croissant and donuts, and a crossover car. And I think a hybrid look at tech and education are really kind of where the trends are going. Let's blend some things that we already use and come up with a little fresh twist on it. So yeah, I came up with a way for students to react with thumbs up, thumbs down, or hand clap emojis, or depending on what tool you're using. I had a teacher reach out to me and say, "Can I use this with my Google platform instead of Zoom?" And so I'm not familiar with that platform or as much as I am with the Zoom platform. So I reached out to teachers and found out ways that students could respond using that tool as well. and put some directions in there. And there's really great ways to react to the would you rather statements, and they're fun. I put a little Thanksgiving twist on it, and it's being received very well. I actually published it out to a local moms group in my area rather than pushing it out all over my school. And I've gotten a lot of interest from local families who are facing not being able to get together with everybody that they love this Thanksgiving in person. And so plug your computer into the big screen TV and play with your family online. It's just another fun way to connect.
So as we're looking at the holidays, condense down all the cool, interesting ways we can connect with our families. Because, one of the advantages with Zoom is people can dial in with their phone. Of course, I can't see people, but I've been doing Zoom Sunday school since March with my ladies, and I've seen people in their 90s doing this stuff. And so I really think just about anybody can be coached with it. But, as you look forward to Christmas, what are some fun suggestions you have for teachers and their families?
Well, I think they should dip back into their teacher tricks. And, we can really engage our students in a lot of ways. And we forget that the adults in our lives will react to some of these activities in just the same way. It's new and fresh for them. Any type of game show activity that they like to watch on TV, there's pretty much templates out there for everything you can imagine. If they like Jeopardy, there's Jeopardy templates out there. All this does rely on some technology, obviously. And one of the things that I made sure to point out in the directions on my Zooms giving was that even if you don't feel super comfortable with hosting or launching this type of activity from your end of the computer, I guarantee there's somebody in your family who has been either using these tools at work or using them with other friends and family and would probably be comfortable hosting it if you developed the game for them. Interestingly enough, I found that the friends that I started the Kahoots with, back in March and April, they eventually started asking me if they could make some of the Kahoots. And so I just had a private session with them one-on-one and just showed them how to set up a Kahoot, and they just led it. And so they got more and more curious themselves as time went by. And so, you could even do a family history Zoom or something really fun where it's just personal to your family. You could talk to Grandpa about his knowledge of the family and history and weave that into a fun game online that really, kind of prolongs that communication. I think sometimes people are uncomfortable with just getting on a phone with Grandma and how many hours can we talk, but kind of adds a little festiveness to the chat.
So I know we're recording this the week of Thanksgiving and it'll air in December, but for me, we usually get together with about 80 or 90 of our, quote, closest family, because I'm from South Georgia and we have large families. And we can't get together with all of those folks this year, but I have promised them a Zoom session at 7:30 at night that day that we're all going to get together. And folks are excited because honestly, there's some people who are going to be able to get together who usually can't come. Yes, there's a little bit of angst and anxiety from some who haven't done this before, but I'm sitting here thinking about all these ideas and I'm kind of looking forward to it. I guess my fear is, okay, have I got people already anxious about getting into Zoom? Do I just want to use some of the polling features inside Zoom before I throw them into a Kahoot? Or did you have it pretty easy to just jump into Kahoot? Did they figure it out pretty well?
I would say Kahoot is probably one of the trickier things to manage. If you are a super comfortable with tech kind of teacher, I don't think it would be too bad, but it is the response options in Kahoot are limited. They either have to be able to split their screen and look at their response choices on one half and the question on the other, or what my audience pretty much did was they had their phone in their hand and they responded on their phone. And I will say connectivity everywhere is just like we're dealing with our students. Sometimes the internet drops. So you deal with little things like that and you just have to kind of expect that. And I think the effort to bring everybody together is the goal, and use your expertise in tech and education as kind of the way to tie it all together in a fun way. I don't know if you have children, but I have children, and the idea of maybe sending them off to interview Grandpa, or maybe they could interview everybody in your family, a couple of questions, something maybe everybody doesn't know about you, and you can play that game, what's the one, 2 truths and a lie kind of thing. So that's fun, and you don't need any technology with that. Everybody can just pipe in and give their 2 truths and a lie, and everybody can thumbs up or thumbs down if they think it's a true or false statement. And that's just using the Zoom reactions that's built into the system. So.
And I know for us, we're planning on asking questions of some of the folks in our family and then recording it and burning it DVDs and sending it to those who want it so that we have some stories preserved for posterity. I mean, we have to figure out how we can use technology for what it can do best. And it can make great recordings and it can let you see everybody's faces and know everybody's names. And with 80 people, I'm thinking, you know what? I might get to know everybody's names better than I do face to face when I'm like, oh, I hadn't seen you in 3 years. Remind me your name.
Yes, I will say also, make sure you take a screenshot of the Zoom sessions. Like when I first started, I would say at the end, okay, everybody wave at the camera. I'm going to take a screenshot. And I would do that. And we get a picture of just everybody smiling and waving. But I found it was even more funny to get I knew something we were going to discuss was going to cause a big reaction. And I was prepared to take the screenshot then. And it was just people like just laughing hysterically and just, bending over their computers in laughter.
Oh, I love that.
It made the greatest pictures, and those would make great keepsakes too. I mean, I could even see a post-holiday follow-up card, going out if you use like Shutterfly or something to take those pictures and make a card into it like a Happy New Year or something. We had fun Zooming together or something like that.
What a great idea. Take a family picture. I think I'm going to add that to our list and some fantastic ideas. So educators, let's get out there and we're getting ready to have some family time, also some time with our students. We can apply these ideas for our classroom, but also to bring our families together in new and different and creative ways, because even if we can't be face to face and we're apart, we don't have to be separated in heart.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sandi.
Thanks, Vicki, for having me.
If you enjoyed today's 10-Minute Teacher podcast, why not subscribe on iTunes? You can also catch up with Vicki on Twitter at CoolCatTeacher or level up and learn with her blogs and free resources at CoolCatTeacher.com. Thanks for listening.